And the focus at this hour comes from Paris because Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Paris. It's a two-day visit for the Prime Minister in France, and the French are rolling out the red carpet for the Indian Prime Minister. He just about landed a short while ago. He is now in his hotel, but the streets were lined up with the diaspora that was waiting eagerly to catch a glimpse of the Prime Minister. Remember, there is the big Diaspora Connect, the event that's going to take place at about 11 p.m. Indian Standard Time, when the Prime Minister is going to be addressing a gathering of expats that are living in Paris. Remember, now these are not just people that are in Paris that have come to see the Prime Minister. They've come from different parts of France. That is the big focus today. But as far as the France trip goes, the big focus for the Prime Minister is going to be defense cooperation and strengthening that cooperation. Several deals are on the anvil, which will be signed when the bilateral takes place with French President Emmanuel Macron. Let's take a look at some of the reactions that have come in through the day as far as the excitement, the mood on ground in Paris is concerned.
सबसे पहले मैं यही बताना चाहूँगा कि हमारे लिए बहुत ही गौरव का विषय है कि हम रफाल्स को फिर से फ्रांस लेकर आए हैं, जो कि ऑलरेडी इसकी कंट्री ऑफ ओरिजिन है, और यहाँ पर हम हमारे ही प्राइम मिनिस्टर जो कि गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर होंगे बास्टिल डे परेड में, उनकी प्रेजेंस में जो बास्टिल डे का प्रेस्टिजियस बहुत ही एलैबोरेट फ्लाई पास्ट होता है, उसके ऑलमोस्ट ओपनिंग फॉर्मेशंस में है, और हमारे लिए सच में काफ़ी गौरव का विषय है।
हमारे लिए बहुत ही प्रेस्टिजियस इशू है। इतने दूर हम आए हैं, क्लोज टू 4,500 माइल्स हम फ्लाई करके आए हैं। हमारे एयरक्राफ्ट बिना लैंडिंग बीच में करके एयर टू एयर रिफ्यूलिंग करके आए हैं। ऑलमोस्ट 10 आवर्स हमने फ्लाई किया है कंटिन्यूअसली फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम ever that any aircraft has flown so long from India.
It is a moment of tremendous pride for us, since we'll be representing our country as well as our force on foreign land in front of our own Prime Minister, who will be witnessing the parade. And also, since we'll be leading the contingent, we have this extra thrill, and we have we'll be setting the bar, so we'll be so happy about being the part of French National Day.
CNN News 18 is on ground in Paris, tracking every single development of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit. My colleague Sanjay Suri is right outside the hotel where the Prime Minister is staying, where he's just about reached. A quick breather for the Prime Minister, so to say, before his first engagement for the day today, which is going to be a meeting with the President of the Senate. Sanjay Suri joining us live, getting us more details of the mood on ground. Sanjay, are the diaspora members still there outside the hotel even after the Prime Minister has gone in?
Yes, right here, and we have a wonderful lady who's been living in Paris for 40 years.
In France.
In France.
Yes.
Right. And you're not in Paris, but
I'm in Nantes.
All right. And what brought you here?
Well,
the Prime Minister.
I came, as most people do, after my wedding. I am the first Indian lady to receive the Pravasi Bharatiya Samman in 2019 for both academics and arts. I'm extremely honored for this award, and I've been conducting dance shows. I have an institute called Bindi. I promote Indian culture for the past 40 years.
Do you find that the position of Indians has gone up in the perception of the French through these 40 years?
Absolutely. When I came in the 80s, India was part of the Indian subcontinent and one of the colonies they would talk about. Not many people knew India, and it was seen with the cliche, like with the elephants, serpents, Maharajas. But today we know the real Indian qualities and skills have been recognized, and I'm extremely honored and happy to note that this year India is a country of honor.
Right. Tell us, and do you live in Paris?
I do not. I'm going to live in Paris soon. I was born and brought up here in France, and I'm really happy to see Modi and see the way he has evolved this relationship between France and India, and to see now all my colleagues, my friends know about India way more, and this is really something that I'm proud of.
You were born in France, you were born French, you are a French citizen. Why is India important to you?
Because I think it's really important to actually stay close to your origins. After all, I have the luck to have two origins, to double the richness of two different countries. I'm taking the best of both worlds, and I'm really happy here to represent my Indian side. And I'm really liking what Modi is doing because it's actually helping us, the diaspora, linking both sides of both origins.
And Dishant is my son. He's the proof of the effect of the change in the movement and the regard for India. And when you mix the two cultures, I think nothing can separate them.
So it's not just Mother India, but Mother has something to do with this.
Yes, of course.
A lot, actually.
Right. So you can see the level of enthusiasm that we find among Indians living in France over this visit of the Prime Minister.
And we are going to be seeing that excitement and that mood on ground there trickle a few hours later down as well when the big Diaspora Connect happens for the Prime Minister. But it is not just about the cultural connect, it's a lot about business. And the Prime Minister is going to do all of that when he sits down with the CEOs in France, when he sits down with President Emmanuel Macron as well. Now, before he left for France today, in a rare interview to a French newspaper, the Prime Minister had multiple things to speak of. He spoke about India being the leader, the bridge between the global south and the global north. He spoke about India's rightful position. Let me take you through a few of the excerpts as far as what the Prime Minister in his interview to this French newspaper spoke about. He said that India shows harmony amid diversity, which is the essence of what India really stands for. We're working towards building a cohesive world, and India is taking a lead in that. We're advancing global peace and prosperity. It's about India's rightful position, and why India has that rightful position now in the world is what the Prime Minister was explaining. India is a force of good, is of the entire globe, is what the Prime Minister is talking about as far as why India has now emerged as a leader for the world to follow. That's something that the Prime Minister spoke of. India is indispensable for global unity. India is very, very important, and in the larger scheme of things, India is going to be playing the role of a bridge, of a link between the two worlds. That's something the Prime Minister has made very, very clear in this particular interview. The Prime Minister has also spoken of multiple things as far as cooperation between India and France is concerned, as far as the global south is concerned. Also something about the 2047 vision for India. Remember, it is going to be 100 years of free India. What does that vision mean for India and what does that mean for the world is also something that the Prime Minister spoke of in this interview. A developed India is catering to the health of infra needs for the world is what the Prime Minister spoke of. India is going to be a global leader in tech and innovation. That's the plan, that's the roadmap for 2047 that the Prime Minister has laid out. The Indian economy is going to be a hub of opportunities. Opportunities not just for Indians to grow in, but also for the world to look at India as the ultimate hub as far as investment goes, as far as opportunities go, in so far as tech is concerned, or so far as innovation is concerned. India is going to be an engine for global South's talent. So this is not just about being a leader or a bridge, but it's also about being a hub for the world to look at India as a leader as far as innovation and investment goes. It helps advance a multipolar world that is based on multilateralism. That is what India wants to do as far as the 100-year plan of Free India goes. That's the vision that the Prime Minister has had, and that is something that he spoke of during this rare interview. The Prime Minister then also spoke about what it is as far as Indo-Pacific security goes, as far as this area goes. Now remember, France is one of the oldest allies in the West for India. 25 years of partnership, 25 more years to go, and that is something that we'll focus on during this visit is what the Prime Minister spoke of. India and France engagement is deep. It's deep-rooted. It's 25 years old, but it's 25 years young as well. We have a lot more to do, is what the Prime Minister has been talking about as well. Free, open, inclusive Indo-Pacific is extremely important. That is key, and that is something that the Prime Minister has laid emphasis on. Sovereignty and international law must be respected. This again is in terms of the kind of aggression that we've seen from both our western and the eastern frontier, a signaling of what's to come as far as the security of the region goes. India takes that very, very seriously, and our allies must do that as well, is the message the Prime Minister is sending. A lasting regional peace is extremely important. It's not important just for India. It's important for the entire Indo-Pacific region. It's important for the entire world as well. That's something that the Prime Minister is talking about. all of this will come up when the Prime Minister sits down with his counterpart in France, in Paris, in a short while from now, and of course with President Macron tomorrow. Ashok Sajanhar, former diplomat, joining us on this broadcast from a perspective. Thank you so much for speaking with us, sir, here on CNN News 18. How do you look at the significance of this two-day visit? There's a lot on agenda as far as India and France is concerned. Defense, trade, all of that is going to be in focus. But as far as relationship between the two countries go, the Prime Minister said we're 25-year-old allies, but we have the next 25 years to look forward to.
Absolutely, you're very right, Poonam, when you say this, because, all that you read out, all that the Prime Minister has said to the French newspaper, these are all very, very important. So I think as far as the relationship is concerned, it is truly notable that Prime Minister is traveling to France as the chief guest for the National Day, for the Bastille Day, but also to mark the 25 years of the strategic partnership between the two countries. And this has been a phenomenal partnership because, what we are going to be able to see tomorrow, our own contingent marching. So in terms of optics, there's going to be, very, very symbolically, it will send out its own message about the very close ties between the two countries. And in terms of substance, also, if you look at the strategic content of the partnership, both India and France, they are, working towards a multipolar world. Both of them are major, important middle power, above middle power countries. They're working together for a multipolar world. Both of them are looking for strategic autonomy in whatever they do. India has demonstrated it, so has France. So there, in terms of their world outlook, worldview, it is very, very identical. It really converges. And then in terms of the bilateral partnership, there is a triad on which they have been working. Defense, of course, is extremely important. So also is space, and so also is nuclear energy. Now, nuclear energy, it has not worked out so far, but I do expect that this will be an important element. Then also on the issue of terrorism, you would have seen that, whenever China has tried to put obstacles, hurdles on designation of international terrorists, France has always been the first one to come and take the issue forward.
Absolutely, and not just on that, as far as India being a permanent member of the UNSC as well, that bid is also something that France has vehemently defended India on. Of course. Yes. Of course. So it's taking those aspects forward and strengthening that relationship, which is going to be in focus for the next 48 hours for the Prime Minister. Ashok Sajanhar, thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18 and sharing your perspective.